Amidst the emotional atmosphere, one voice split the euphoria, that of Carlo Pernat, a senior MotoGP observer who offered sharp criticism. While the public cheered on Marc Márquez's brilliant victory, Pernat voiced his anxiety instead. This is no longer a race, it's a monologue. Márquez is the only actor. His words were not just sarcasm. It was a hard slap to the MotoGP world. Is Márquez's dominance now a threat to the spirit of competition itself? Let's discuss it. Marc Márquez made extraordinary history once again at the 2025 Assen Grand Prix. Despite being in poor physical condition, after 2 hard accidents in Friday's practice session, the maestro from Cervera performed unmatched. With courage and steely mental fortitude, Márquez swept the weekends to races, the sprint race and the main race. Not only did he take home 2 prestigious trophies, he also widened his lead in the standings to 68 points over his younger sibling. And classmate, Alex Marquez, his closest rival, with 6 main wins and 3 consecutive sprint race wins, Márquez is leading the standings. He has mastered the season's narrative, dominating the championship and confirming that his era of glory is not over. At every turn, Marc proves that he is still the best in the world. However, behind the euphoria is a note of concern from seasoned MotoGP observer Carlo Pernat. What's left of a world championship when we know who the winner is even before the middle of the season? Asked Pernat, hoping for fiercer competition. When one name becomes too dominant, the racing world can lose its soul-uncertainty. Carlo Pernat is an extraordinary figure in the world of MotoGP, a senior figure who has been around the paddock for a long time. He was once the manager of living legend Valentino Rossi. Pernat is also known as an outspoken figure who does not hesitate to voice his opinion in favor of pure racing. In his latest interview after the Assen race, Pernat sharply criticized the current state of the competition. According to Pernat, Marc Márquez's striking dominance is not the rider's fault. In fact, Pernat openly called Márquez one of the best talents MotoGP has ever had, a rider with strategic intelligence, extraordinary determination, and above-average technical ability. However, precisely because of Márquez's extraordinary qualities, coupled with the support of the Ducati motorcycle, which is now the benchmark on the grid, the race has lost its element of surprise. The competitive spirit that has always been the pulse of MotoGP is slowly eroding. We no longer see dramatic battles, last-lap duels, or surprises from satellite teams. All we see is victory after victory. It's a perfect combination of the best rider, the fastest motorbike, and the best team. And that, in the long term, is not healthy for the competition. Pernat emphasized with a concerned tone. Furthermore, Pernat alluded to the fact that too much dominance by one party could damage the natural balance of the championship. He cited eras in MotoGP that fans most remember when the competition was tight, such as the duels between Rossi and Biaggi, Lorenzo and Stoner, and Márquez and Dovizioso. It's not Márquez's fault. He did his job perfectly, but the system must improve so that the competition remains interesting for the audience, he concluded. The TT Assen circuit is known for being technical and often presenting surprises and fierce battles. However, this season, even Assen was unable to present significant challenges to Marc Márquez. Marco Bezzecchi, the only rider who could keep up with Márquez throughout the race, admitted that he was at his wit's end. I thought he would slow down because of his injury. But no, he was like a robot, said Bezzecchi, half-joking. He tried everything. He attacked from the technical sector and maximized the Aprilia motorbike's advantage in fast corners. But Márquez always had an answer. He closed the line with precision, maintained the rhythm, and controlled the race from the front flawlessly. What made Márquez's victory at Assen so thrilling was not just his overtaking or brilliant race strategy, but also his incredibly fragile physical condition. 2 major incidents on Friday left him with injuries to his ribs, fingers, and arm. Every movement was painful. In fact, during Sunday morning's warm-up, Márquez expressed doubts. To his team, "I don't know if I can ride today. I woke up and felt like my body was breaking. But adrenaline saved me," he said softly, describing the fine line between giving up and fighting. As always, Márquez refused to give in. Despite his body being covered in bruises and pain lurking around every corner, He got on his bike. Not just to finish the race, he won it in a way that defied logic and all medical predictions. This was not just the story of a rider, it was a tale of steely nerves, unwavering determination, and courage beyond human physical limits. It was a victory worthy of legend, not just a statistic. Behind Marc Marquez's dominance, voices of admiration could not be hidden, not even from Ducati's top brass. Ducati course manager Gigi Dall'Igna did not hesitate to call Marquez a rider who combines speed, maturity, and incredible determination. In his view, Marquez is not only a fast rider, but also the epitome of a true champion. He's not just fast, he has an incredible winning instinct. In Assen, he won not because he had the fastest bike, but because of his perfect mentality and strategy. He knows when to wait and when to attack, said Dall'Igna, comparing Marquez to icons like Giacomo Agostini and Mick Doohan, who set the gold standard in MotoGP history. Meanwhile, Ducati test rider Michel Pirro also offered high praise. He said that Marquez is currently the most difficult to beat, even when injured. Pirro said that Marquez's presence strengthens Ducati on the track and changes the manufacturer's entire internal ecosystem. The other Ducati riders now have a new benchmark against which they can measure their mental and technical limits every race week. With Marquez in the garage, everyone is required to level up, Pirro added. It's not just about speed, it's about staying calm when everything explodes on the track. In such an atmosphere, praise from within can no longer be contained. Marquez has become a force not only feared by rivals, but also respected by his own team. Carlo Pernat ended his criticism with an urgent message. MotoGP needs a worthy rival. This is not to bring down Marc Marquez personally, but rather to maintain the spirit of competition and the appeal of the championship itself. According to Pernat, if Marquez's dominance continues, MotoGP could lose its identity as a sport full of surprises and adrenaline. Pernat also called for other leading riders, such as Pecco Bagnaia, Jorge Martin, Pedro Acosta, and Marco Bezzecchi, to truly appear as serious challengers, not just be present. I want to see unpredictable races, Pernat said. Not like a television series with one main actor and the rest just playing extras. Marc Marquez's dominance is more than just a statistical fact. It's a story of ambition, wounds, determination, and genius. However, it also reflects how the perfection of one name can ruin a sport's dynamics. MotoGP is now at a crossroads. On one side is an unshakable legend. On the other is a championship slowly losing its sense of unpredictability. Marc Marquez is not wrong. However, the MotoGP world needs more heroes on the track. The question is no longer whether he can win. The real question is, who is crazy enough, brave enough, and strong enough to stop him? Leave your comments below.